Welcome, race fans, to race number 9. It's the Spark Pocket Crew Chief Winter Series taking on Las Vegas for the number 1 Hero Cards 111. Welcome, everybody, inside the booth. My name is Logan Threlkeld. As always, alongside me, Sky Schreck here for our coverage tonight. We got Johnny Rapp working the cameras behind the scenes for us. And man, oh man, Sky, the desert heat is always hot, but this points battle is getting even hotter. Let's take a look at that and give us a quick breakdown there.
These drivers are going to need to be pretty lucky this week in Vegas if they are to move up the standings. You got Jacob Bradley coming into this race as your leader by 5 points. He's been hot recently, and he's taken over that points lead from second place, Braxton DeWeese, who is just 5 points back. He's right there. Bad race for Levi Cox drops him down to 4th, and that moves Chris Smith up to 3rd in that 28 car. Following up from there, Johnny Rapp 5th, Justin Wilson 6th, Dylan LeBeau, Evan Pienta, James Danforth, Chase Berry, Ryan Jones, and Jake Mackey are all going to give it their best tonight to try and get anything they can at Vegas.
They're going to need every little point they can get going into the championship race next week. Sky, what do you say we take a look at our starting grid, setting the pole for the night? The Evan Pienta pole Designs pole award goes to Braxton DeWeese on the 15, next to the 28 of Chris Smith. Row 2 will be Jacob Bradley in the 3rd spot, next to Devin Jack on the outside. Inside of row 3, that's going to be Ryan Jones next to Johnny Rapp in the 52. Row 4 goes to Justin Wilson next to Ellis Thomas in the 8 machine, starting 8th. Last but not least, in our top 10, Dylan LeBeau takes the 26 to 9th next to Evan Pienta in the 55.
Looking back from there, Levi Cox rolls off 11th. On his outside will be Ryan Phillips going in 12th. Back in 13th tonight, Brian Brobst will roll off in the 11 car. Laurel Wiseman on his outside in 14th. Row 8 tonight is going to be Peter Stewart driving that 9 car. James Danforth, one of your top 12 in points, rolling off all the way back in 16th. P17 tonight will be Sean Mulholland in the 39. Robert Brobst in the 5 in 18th. Rounding out your top 20 will be the 1 car of Benson Weaver with Rob Liedl rolling off 20th.
And the back half of our field will start here in 21st with Can Gillens in the 07 next to the 60 of Steve Vest. Behind them, we'll have Scotty Sobczyk starting out in the 23rd position next to Max Kost in the 63. Chase Berry in the 46 will start out in 25th on the night next to Aiden Neese in the 24. David Hill in the 43 will take up the 27th starting spot next to Zachary Mitchell in the 23. And last but not least, we've got the 13 of Jake Mackey next to the 42 of Paul Thomas. So a great race scheduled here for tonight. Las Vegas being one of my favorite tracks. Sky, what do you expect to see from some of these drivers here tonight?
I think we're going to see some really good racing. We always see that here at Las Vegas. This is a track that lends itself to really tight, really fast-paced racing. Tonight will be no exception here for these drivers as the pace car pulls down pit road. We're ready to go for 111 laps.
It is on, green flag in the air. DeWeese, he's going to lead the way here as we start the number 1 Hero Cards 111 in Las Vegas. Down into turn 1, DeWeese with the advantage here. Got way out ahead of Chris Smith on that start. Jacob Bradley falling right in line now, making his way up to second immediately before they make it to turn 3. Starting to single file out here towards the front, but it is a cluster in the back. Still 2x2, multiple rows deep there. But Braxton DeWeese going to lead us around here to take lap number 1.
And he's a driver that really could use this win tonight. We mentioned he's coming into the second in points, just 5 behind that 50 car of Jacob Bradley. But Bradley wants to take the points lead. He's going to try to make a move up the inside of that 15 car there. He'll stay side by side. He'll pull back in down the back straightaway. Braxton DeWeese holds that lead into turn 3.
We'll see just how long DeWeese can hold on to this lead. Jacob Bradley, he's been very good here late in the season. Number 1 in the points for a reason. Has a great opportunity here for a good solid finish. If he can get out ahead of Braxton DeWeese and extend that points gap from first to second place going into next week, he'll be looking to take home a championship. Oh, 3 wide towards the back there, it looked like, around that 15th position, maybe a little bit further. I think that was Sean Mulholland. A couple other cars, they got sorted out before we got into turn number 3. That was quite the movement from the middle of the pack.
It was for sure. There's drivers going at it all over this track. You can really run multiple lines here. You can run the bottom. You can run all the way around the top like that 24 car is doing up there. A lot of different lines to run all through this field, and good battles all through the field as well. Side by side. Oh, we got a car in the fence up there. Not sure who that was. He's going to come down. That's Rob Liedl in the 80 into Benson Weaver, into Mulholland. And are we going to keep it straight? Somehow looks like we are.
Everybody keeps it straight. What a stack up that was, and what a recovery from the 80 of Rob Liedl. That was quite the navigation he had to put down to keep that car straight, especially coming through the grass like he did. We're going to keep it green and clean here, as we're going to have a couple damaged race cars. Benson Weaver mixed up in that one. We had Sean Mulholland mixed up in it. A couple cars going to be a little bit damaged. But overall, we've got a battle here for the front of the lead once more. Jacob Bradley looking to the inside of Braxton DeWeese. Doesn't have enough of it here to get ahead and put the slide job on coming out of turn number 2. Down the backstretch, falls back in place here behind the 15 machine. They'll continue to run that bottom line, try to save these tires as long as possible. 111 laps on the board. That's a long race. Good thing it's set here for nighttime, Sky.
Bradley trying to take it up the inside of that 15 of DeWeese. We'll see if he can get it done. They'll stick side by side through 1 and 2. A little loose for the 50 car. DeWeese will have that top lane. He's going to have the advantage working it down into turn 3, but the 50 is still there. He'll pull about a nose ahead as we head through 3 and 4, and we're still side by side heading out of 4. Your top 3 in points are your top 3 on the racetrack. DeWeese and Bradley are going at it for P1.
Couple battles here throughout the rest of the field, but this one's getting spicy. Our 2 points leaders side by side here so early in this race. Not even 10 laps in. DeWeese on the high side here. That's going to assist the 50 of Bradley whenever it comes to forcing DeWeese to use up the tires a little bit more than he would want to. But man, look at that 15 coming around the outside here. He's got a whole lot of speed exiting off the top of these corners.
Yeah, that inside's probably where you want to be over the course of the long run. And yet DeWeese is doing such a good job to fight back on that top side. They're still side by side. They have been for about 3 or 4 laps now, and neither car is really able to get away from the other. Bradley will get another advantage down into 3. But DeWeese has that run on the top. He gets a straighter exit, and he's able to always get it back by the time they hit the start-finish line. This is for your points lead right here. All the marbles on the table between Jacob Bradley and Braxton DeWeese.
Jacob Bradley cutting it down onto the apron across the tri-oval section. 100% completely legal move here in Las Vegas. It can have an effect on your tires, though, and especially when you try to rejoin back up onto the racing surface, you can certainly unsettle the suspension in the rear and send that car sideways a little bit more than you want. That's where you get that assist there on the tire wear. Looking back here around the 10th place position, Ryan Phillips here in the 27, stuck up here on the outside. Looks like the 49 of Devin Jack on the inside here. Evan Pienta just ahead as well.
Hasn't been a great start to the race for Devin Jack. You mentioned he rolled off 4th tonight already. That car's dropped outside of the top 10, back to P11th. He's really not having a great time, and he's running right on the inside. You have to imagine his plan here is to hope for a long green flag run, maybe save some tires so that he's got enough left for the end of the stint. Right now, though, losing a lot of positions. Even if he saves tires better than anyone else, those lost spots could still come back to haunt him.
Tire saving is going to be a huge, huge factor here tonight, and these side-by-side battles certainly will not help. One of these two drivers needs to get separated. Ooh, and loose right behind. That's Aiden Neeson, the 24, off the corner exit. Gets a little sideways, but collects it back up here. Doesn't lose any ground to the car in front or the 88 right behind.
Looks like we're still side by side for the lead up there. That battle between DeWeese and Bradley has not ended yet. They were close for a second, but Bradley dropped right back behind that 15 car. He is really, really, really trying to make the move, but Braxton DeWeese is doing an amazing job of defending. He's held on to that top spot so well and continuing on in this race. That 15 car is just going to do all he can to hold off the Lowe's machine of Jacob Bradley.
That's a tall order there for DeWeese to be able to hold off the 50 for 98 more laps, this time by 97. DeWeese technically leading all of them, but we have had some position change between the two where Bradley just barely gets the nose ahead. I think we've got some more battles starting to form a little bit further back here. We do. Levi Cox is under fire now from Ellis Thomas. Look at the side-by-side just behind as well. That's Evan Pienta on the inside here. It's Dylan LeBeau that was stuck up on the outside. He's back into position now. Looking to take a low line here into turn number 3. Gets to the inside of Pienta, slides it up the racetrack, endures the 55 here. Pienta able to collect it, though. Nobody really got sideways there. That could have been dangerous right in front of a whole heck of a lot of race cars.
As this battle continues, LeBeau is going to try to get the inside once again. Pienta, another car, doing pretty good work on that top line, trying to hold the 26 off, and it looks like he'll prevail out of the corner. Want to give a quick shout out to Levi Cox because he's kind of doing the inverse of Devin Jack here, whereas Jack started up in 4th, rolled back to 11th over the course of this race. Levi Cox started out back in 11th, 16 laps in, he's back to 5th, or he's up to 5th. We'll see if that's because he's really pushing these tires. We'll see if he falls off in the later half of this run, but for now, everything going good for the 54 car. He needs to be up there if he wants to challenge for this championship next week.
A big point stay on the board here for the 54 is in order. Absolutely have to, you have to gain some ground here going into the last race. And what a better time to get lucky and roll the dice than being in Las Vegas to do so. We'll see if the 54 of Cox can hold on here for another 94 laps. Big time sin down below the apron there for the 58 of Justin Wilson. Brought it right back up on track and didn't seem to gain a whole lot of ground. So that's that trade-off there where you might see some position gain, but overall you're really just going to wear your tires down even more than you need to, cutting it across the apron there. Not a lot of time to be made, Sky.
No, but there is a lot of time to be made really all over the racetrack. You can see all the different lines people are running with cars like Wilson going all the way down to the apron. You got a couple other cars. I saw Aiden Neeson in particular doing it earlier. He was run all the way up on the wall. We've seen a couple cars look higher up on the racetrack. We've seen cars keep it glued to the bottom the whole way around. A lot of variety in what drivers are doing early on in this race. Vegas is a track that presents a lot of different lanes to move, and these guys are taking full advantage of it.
And you might as well. That's one of the great things here since we've had our most recent iRacing update, is adding to some of these tracks the effect of rubber being laid down in the corners, and you can kind of start to see that here even this early into the race, that defined darker groove here at the bottom of the track. Contact with the wall out of 3, and we've got one blinking. I believe that's the 8 of Ellis Thomas there just behind. I believe that was Pienta that got into the wall. Maybe Ryan Phillips even followed.
There's a bunch of cars in a really small amount of space here. 6 drivers all over each other from Ellis Thomas back to about James Danforth there. And even further back, a couple more cars are lurking just outside the bounds of this battle, trying to make something happen. Dylan LeBeau working there on the inside, but Ellis Thomas is going to prevail on the top for right now. We'll see if Pienta can line up a move on LeBeau for that 8th place position. Not this time around. LeBeau will hold the spot down into 3. We're still side by side further back there. That is the 88 of James Danforth trying to make something happen.
Danforth looking for a move here. Got things sorted out now between Thomas, LeBeau, and Pienta. Then up at the front, Braxton DeWeese has now separated himself from Jacob Bradley by almost a second and a half. Looks like we've got a caution on the track. Sky now, not too sure where this one came from, but if we send it back here to a replay, we can certainly find out.
Yeah, we've got Cam Gillens in the 07 slowdown there on the apron. We're going to try to find out what happened here to that 07 machine. It's already stopped down there. Couple of, at least one other car down there with him. Here's Cam Gillens in that 07 car, was running back in 23rd. When this all happened, he's got the 46 behind him. That's Chase Berry. That car will look up the inside, and the 07 way high into the fence, slams it twice, and unfortunate victim, Jake Mackey.
Man, that is unfortunate to see for the 13. That could be a very early night for both of these drivers here. Cam Gillens, 07, the 13, nowhere to go. Gillens just up into the wall, bounced it once, tried to keep it back up at the top of the track. I think he got into the wall one more time there. Came right down in front of the 13 of Mackey, nowhere to go. Take a look on board here with Mackey now. See, there's the first touch. There's the second one. That's the one that sends Gillens down the track into the side of Jake Mackey. Mackey hits the inside wall, goes around for a couple spins. Look at all that damage there, right on the front right nose of the 13.
Mackey had a bad qualifying effort.
07 too.
Yeah, Mackey had a bad qualifying effort, started out back this race. He's one of those drivers that came into this in the top 12 in points. He's looking to get a good finish in the championship standings here. That is certainly not going to help him. He's going to have a long way to go if he wants to make something out of this race, and likely some damage with it.
13 of Mackey virtually out of the equation, mathematically at least, for a championship win. But, at the end of the day, up yourself in the points. It's a little bit of bragging rights going into the next season. Back here live now, doubled up. Pace car will come off this time by. Looks like we've got some pit stops that have happened here. Braxton DeWeese no longer in the lead. He's cycled back out to the 14th position. So this will be the first time that DeWeese has really seen any other race cars ahead of him to cause any dirty air. That car is going to drive a whole lot different here. Look at this front row. Jacob Bradley, our points leader, will take us to the green flag with Ryan Jones on the outside. Levi Cox up a couple other positions here to third. And it's the 28 of Chris Smith finding his way back up here in the top 5. His car comes off. Barney the flagman, green flag in hand. Geico restart zone. Bradley's away. Big jump for the inside line here. Levi Cox is going to get clear of the 91 of Ryan Jones before turn 1. Will he move up the track? No, did not move up the track, but he doesn't need to. They're not quite fast enough just yet to have to arch in that entry. 91 of Jones with a good run off corner. Oh, nearly contact there with Wilson. Sends the 58 down the track. He gets back in line here. No real ground lost, but it's nearly 3 wide right behind Chris Smith. On the outside, Dylan LeBeau now challenging with Evan Pienta.
Chris Smith, another driver needing a good finish, came into this third in points. He's going to want to move up and challenge those top 2 of Bradley and DeWeese. But to do that, he needs a great run tonight. He's trying to get it right now, running on the inside of these cars. Back in now 6th with LeBeau challenging him on the outside. He's got Rye Jones 1 spot in front. He'll get the nose over LeBeau going down into 3 and 4. We'll see if that helps him hold it to the start-finish line. It won't. He's going to get checked up there by Rye Jones behind. He'll lose the spot to Evan Pienta, too. Now he's going to try to work to the inside of that 91 car who's falling back in a hurry.
That was a big sin through the tri-oval, making it 3 wide, but he got sorted out before turn 1. Chris Smith now with the slight advantage over Jones. Let's see if it pays off here in turn number 3. Still has him by about half a car length. This time he's got the room to move up. Will the 28 take advantage? He does. Slides right up in front of the 91. Now it's Ellis Thomas waiting for his turn to get around Ryan Jones. 3 wide right behind. Johnny Rapp stuck in the middle now. It's the 81 of Sobzik on the inside. The 27 of Phillips on the outside. Oh, and a snap loose for Phillips into the wall here in turn number 2. That will not bring out the caution. A lot of cars trying to get around here. It is a scramble at the back half of this field. Everybody's going to get around the 27 pretty easily there. Heavy damage on the outside. Steve Vest, one last car to get around.
That is going to drop him all the way to the rear of the field. He was running pretty mid-pack, going up there on about 12th or 13th, and that will give him a very long distance to make up here. He's going to need a caution or something if he wants to try to get his way back up to the top part of that field. We're going to look a little further up the field here soon because we've got some battles going on right here. This is Scotty Sobzak in the 81 car looking behind Aiden Neese, and he is going to look up the inside of Chris Smith in that 28 car. That 28 looking like he might be saving tires a little because here comes Aiden Neese in a hurry up the inside of the 28. Now he'll look up the inside of Evan Pienta. That 24 machine going to move himself into the top 5, and Scotty Sobzak will try to follow through on the inside. He'll get to 6th.
Nearly self-cleared across the nose there, but it works out for Aiden Neese. Up into the top 5 position. Look at this battle up at the very front. Levi Cox, Jacob Bradley side by side. We saw it with Bradley and DeWeese. It's time for a new contender up here. Cox with the advantage across the line. I believe that'll be his first lap led of the night. Nearly dooring each other into turn number 1. Still side by side. Here, 2 rows deep. Wilson and Neese both side by side there through 1 and 2. They get sorted out now. Everybody's getting sorted out.
Jacob Bradley will maintain that lead over Levi Cox for the time being, that 54. Really worked hard to pull himself up to 11th to 2nd and try to recover from some bad races recently to get back up in this championship fight. Here comes Aiden Neese. Oh my goodness. Into the side of the 58 of Justin Wilson and then almost across into the nose of the 81 of Sobzak, but it all works out. That 24 car is absolutely flying through the field right now, and the 81 is following him through. Aiden Neese in 3rd has his sights set on the top 2, and Scotty Sobzak is trying to make a move happen on the 58, but he's cut off down into 2. Now, it is Neese up the inside of the 54. He'll take 2nd. Not long to go before he'll get Jacob Bradley for the lead.
I don't know where the 24 has found this speed, but it certainly is working out to the inside now. Bradley, and he's going to get a better drive off here as Aiden Neese now claims the lead. He will have the 50 clear by about a car and a half going into turn number 3. 24 with a fantastic run so far this evening. We'll see what he can do here as we are coming into 78 laps to go. Aiden Neese putting some distance between himself and Bradley. Scotty Sobzik entering the top 3 now. It's around the inside of Levi Cox. Will he do the same here to Bradley coming into 3? No, he's going to slide up behind. Bradley leaves that door open momentarily, closes it though midway through the corner. 81's going to keep it low off corner exit and get a good drive off now. Side by side, Sobzik takes over 2nd place at the line.
This is going to be the added advantage on new tires. Neese and Sobzak at points have been half a second faster than Bradley and Cox. Those top 2 cars are absolutely flying. You've seen it over the last few laps. They are 1 and 2 clear, way in the lead now with 77 to go. Still early on, only about the 1/3 mark of this race, but these 2 cars have played their strategy pretty well so far, and we might get a bit of an upset winner here tonight if Neese or Sobzak is able to pull it out.
Aiden Neese started this race all the way back in 26th. Only a couple cars behind him at the start of this race, and he's made his way all the way up to the number 1 spot here early on. It's only lap 36, guy, and this 24 is flying right now. I'd like to see what kind of a long-run pace Aiden Neese can put together. Hold on to this lead.
Yeah, he's really opened up a gap. So has Sobzak to those 2 cars behind. It's a 1-second gap there from Nice back to Jacob Bradley, and that gap is still increasing as the 24 continues to run some great laps out here. Scotty Sobzak doing the same thing. He's actually starting to close in a little on that 24, so we might get a battle for the lead here in a second. That 81 is Scotty Sobzak looking to lead some laps. Don't think we've seen him up here all season, but he's got a great chance to put himself in the lead right now.
Aiden Neese, not an easy pass to make. However, Sobzak has a lot on his plate if he wants to take over the lead here. And has to get out of the throttle there quite a bit out of corner exit. I believe we might have a caution on the track towards the back of the field once more, Sky.
We're going to see a couple cars stopped. Yeah, Robert Brobst stopped on the racetrack. Brian Brobst also stopped on the racetrack there. The Brobst brothers are in trouble. Rolling through turn 3. We're going to see what happened back there.
Ooh, looks like just some contact made here. Got the 5 on the inside. Oh, no.
Ooh.
That is brother on brother crime right there. The 11 just gets down into the nose of the 5. Takes out both of the Brobst brothers. A lot more damage there on the 11, it looks like, on the front end than it does for Robert Brobst in the 5.
Yeah, well, the angled bit of that tire wall is really not where you ever want to hit a car on this racetrack. That'll probably give him a little more damage just because of the spot on the inside wall that he ended up hitting when he spun.
Not an ideal outcome by any means for the Brobst family, but overall, it could have been a whole lot worse. I think both of those cars should be able to continue on here. We'll get back to our live shot momentarily. Back up here towards the front of things. We are doubled back up. Pace car lights are off. Got the 43, David Hill on the inside. Scotty Sobzak, he'll be starting on the outside here. Jacob Bradley finally brought it down for some tires this time. Braxton DeWeese works his way back up into the 6th position. Bradley cycles out into 7th. Justin Wilson ready to go on the inside line. We'll see just who can get the better jump. That bottom line last time got a fantastic jump, leaving the top line way behind. Looks like pace car is off. Into the Geico restart zone we go. Green flag is waving and foot is to the floor. David Hill gets a great jump off the bottom once more. Scotty Sobzak falls a little bit behind. However, he's going to keep that 2nd position. Justin Wilson clears Aiden Neese into turn 1. 3 wide just behind, however. Johnny Rapp in the middle of it on the bottom line. There's a whole lot of action back here.
43 definitely got up there on some pit strategy, so I'm interested to see how many positions he's actually able to hold, or if he just kind of free falls through the field here. We're going to find out for sure. He's already back to 3rd after 1 lap. Scott Sobzak and Wilson both getting way clear 1 and 2, and now he's got Aiden Neese coming right up on him for 3rd. This is going to be the battle, and cars are looking a little slow here. Might have another caution out.
I believe we do. Trying to find where it is here. Looks like maybe Benson Weaver wrapped up in it one more time. Yes, it's all the way at the back of the pack here where it was nearly 3 wide. Looks like we do get a touch of 3 wide here.
I nearly went 4 wide.
Yeah, nearly 4 wide. Benson Weaver and Rob Liedl get caught up in it. Doesn't look like anybody else, but both of those cars hit the outside wall, spin across the infield. So if they took fresh tires, those things are cooked now.
And Liedl hit the outside wall pretty good there. It looked like he caught it quite well. I wonder if Liedl might have just kind of got forced up the track here. Weaver exited a little lower than maybe that 80 car was expecting, and he got contact. 80. He's pretty hard into that outside wall. He already was in one incident earlier. Not a great race for Rob Liedl in the 80.
Could have been a whole lot worse overall. Could have looked like maybe a little bit of net code at play there. But it was kind of the same thing that we saw earlier where Weaver just ended up snapping loose. and this time just unable to recover it. We're going to stack them back up here one more time. Scotty Sobzik took over the lead there from David Hill. Hill will start on the outside. Justin Wilson in third on the inside. Aiden Neese will be on the outside in row 2. As Braxton DeWeese working his way back up to the top 5 now. Inside of row 3, Johnny Rapp behind him. Levi Cox to the outside of DeWeese. Jacob Bradley behind the 54. Pace car comes off. Sobczyk with control here, holding a steady 60 miles per hour. And back on the gas we go. Inside, getting another big jump here. David Hill, nothing he can do to hold on to second over Justin Wilson.
No, those worn tires are really going to hurt that 43 car, particularly on the restarts, because he just can't get it going. He's being swallowed up by a massive cars. We're going 4 wide. It's Pienza in the middle. Somehow we're all going to make it through that. Evan Pienza survives along with Johnny Rapp back there. That was close. We're still 3 wide further back. Now it's Rye Jones in the middle, and somehow, once again, everybody makes it out of that intact.
I don't know how they managed that. That was nearly 3 wide for 2 rows there. Slowed down on the track once more. Let's find out where this yellow flag came from.
It's already around at the back there. This is Aiden Neese, who's running towards the front.
Aiden Neese with some connection issues here. So coming through turns 1 and 2, you see Neese disappear on corner exit. Nobody else can see him. He can see everybody around him. But by the time that Neese is back into the server where everybody else can see him, he's already heavily damaged here.
That is a very unfortunate connection loss for that 24 car there, Aiden Neese. He was running so well right up towards the front of the field. He's having a great race, and that's never how you want to see it end.
Not at all. Neese had a fantastic pace here to start out the night. Hate to see that for a driver, but that is racing overall. Back up here amongst the action. We'll be taking this green flag with 63 laps to go. Scotty Sobczyk in control of the bottom lane. Justin Wilson to the outside now. Braxton DeWeese. Second row on the inside with Jacob Bradley. Our points battlers right now. Taking up the second row. Johnny Rapp on the outside behind. David Hill's fallen back to 6th. He'll be on the inside of row 3. Pienta, Cox, Smith, LeBeau. That'll make up the rest of your top 10. We're coming around turns 3 and 4 here momentarily. Pace car will come off. We'll be back to all of the action. There goes the iRacing pace car. Barney the flagman, green flag in hand. Geico restart zone, and we are away. Sobczyk gets a good head start over Justin Wilson on the outside. DeWeese looking to the inside. A much better start this time for the 15 as he's got an advantage coming into turn 1. Wilson way up the track. He's going to lose 2 positions now to DeWeese and Bradley. See if this 2-car tandem can do anything to catch back up, and another big stack up towards the back of the field.
Rye Jones just got sent like a heat-seeking missile into the inside wall back there. And something happened further up the track. There were a couple other cars. We got a parking lot. It's Pienza, Paul Thomas, Sean Mulholland. And at least 5 or 6 cars there stopped on the apron all told. Major accident towards the back.
Take a look back here on the instant replay. Pienta just gets a little bit too loose, ends up dooring the 91 of Jones, comes back up the track, collects a whole lot more race cars. Big shot there for Probst, who was just involved. The 84 of Wiseman, the bad luck continues for Laura Wiseman. Hate to see that. The 42 Paul Thomas involved, Sean Mulholland in the mix. Can't quite believe that's Zachary Mitchell that's running the
Think it is.
23. He got mixed up in it as well.
He took a massive shot.
Peter Stewart with a little bit of damage there as
Oh.
well on the front end. Evan Pienta. Looks like the 88 also involved. Big hits in more than half of this field.
That was a huge hit there when Rye Jones just kind of ricocheted off the inside wall. Came right back up the racetrack and just nailed somebody with a T-bone. That was a big one.
Back here again now, looking at the 84 on board. There comes the 55, and just nowhere for Laura Wiseman to go. A big hit for the 55 to the inside wall, bounces immediately into that left front quarter panel. You can see just how much that left front wheel is bouncing now. That is not what you want on a race car. That feels horrible if you have a direct drive wheel. It looks like even the front right is locked up at the moment. So that car is, I don't know how Laura Weissman's getting this car back to pit road right now. And we're stacked back up one more time here. Still Scotty Sobczyk on the front row, but DeWeese has now taken over that second position. He'll be on the outside with much fresher tires than the 81. Jacob Bradley will start on the inside here of row 2. Justin Wilson on the outside, getting some heat in those tires there. Don't really need it just right now. Nearly halfway through this race, Sky, and it's been a hectic one already.
It has been absolute chaos, especially over the last few laps, last few restarts. Cautions breed cautions. That's what we've seen so far. Let's see if we can get a green flag run in here for Scotty Sobczyk, Braxton DeWeese.
We'll see if Sobczyk can hold on and keep that 50 of Bradley at bay. And the green is away. A little bit of a stack up there for both the bottom and the top lines. Sobczyk gets a big run here. But look at that. There goes Jacob Bradley to the inside already of Braxton DeWeese. Justin Wilson's going to try to hold that same line. 4 wide once more behind. David Hill stuck in the middle as he is falling through the field like a rock.
There was some contact right up in front of them there. 2 cars almost got tangled into the fence there, trying to dodge that 43 car. David Hill, they're going all over the racetrack trying to get him right now. It'll be Danforth squeaking through on the bottom. Ryan Phillips will go around down there. A lot of cars trying to make their way around that 43 car. He managed to make it work for a while up there on that tire strategy, as now he's in the fence. He made it work for a while because we didn't really have any cautions. He could kind of survive. Not the case anymore. He is in trouble, and he is going to go one-way ticket to the rear of the field.
Back up towards the front of things, Jacob Bradley has gotten around the 81 of Scotty Sobczyk, putting some good distance on now. A little over a quarter of a second here. Now Braxton DeWeese needs to get around Sobczyk as soon as possible if he wants to challenge for this points lead. Goes to the outside. He'll get a good run off too, but gets into the wall. That's going to woe him up quite a bit. Dylan LeBeau does the same thing right behind in 4th.
Oh, it's getting tight up here for sure. Looking a little further back, LeBeau is one of those drivers who's in that top 12. He's had a really good run this race. Looking to move himself up in points. Has a win this year. Won, I believe, the second race of the season. He's going to try to get another here in the second last race of the season. Really pushing on that 15 car, Braxton DeWeese. Ellis Thomas, another driver having a really good day back there in 5th. He'll look to the inside of Dylan LeBeau as we work into turns 3 and 4. We'll see if that 26 can hold off the 8 on the top.
Chris Smith did start in that second position on the night. He knows how to find the speed. It's the long run pace where it's not been working out. But right now, looking to put down some hot laps. He's caught up to our leaders here. It's a 5-car battle. They're a little bit separated right now from Jacob Bradley, but from 2nd to 5th, and now even 6th, 7th. We got a whole lot of cars looking to join in on this here momentarily.
Yeah, we're under half a second there from about second back to fifth. A lot of cars battling pretty hard. Dylan LeBeau is going to move himself up into second. He'll get that outside line going on Scotty Sobzak. That pushes the 81 back to third. And now he's got DeWeese. He's got Ellis Thomas going closer to him, but they're side by side, which is halting their momentum a little bit and keeping Dylan LeBeau or keeping Scotty Sobzak up in that third position for now. Ellis Thomas will get clear in that 8 car. He'll look to catch the 81.
Shouldn't be too long before we see Thomas be able to have an opportunity here. Stobzik on a slightly different tire strategy. Here's a look to the outside for the 8 machine. And you get on the gas soon enough. He's going to get door to door on corner exit. That's going to keep the 81 down on track. Doesn't get the run that he wants to get all the way up to the wall. Ellis Thomas makes that one look easy. That is a textbook pass right there around the outside.
Great run for Ellis Thomas this race, working his way up onto the podium here for the first time in a while in the Spark Racing League. Doing a great job to wheel this car up to third. And now he's got Jacob Bradley, Dylan LeBeau, 2 winners this season riding right in front of him. He is going to try to get himself up to challenge these cars. The lap times aren't there quite yet, but if he can calm down and run some good laps here, I think he's got a shot at him.
Little over the halfway mark. Only 51 laps to go this time across the stripe. Will Thomas be able to hold on to those tires and make a challenge at the very end of this? Or will we see Bradley and LeBeau continue to run away from the rest of the field? Braxton DeWeese still has a whole lot of ground to make up, running in the 5th position right now. Looks like maybe a slight connection issue for our second place driver, Dylan LeBeau. Disappeared there for just a second. Hopefully that'll iron itself out. We don't need another situation like what we saw with Aiden Neese by any means, especially at the front of the field.
No, we don't, and this battle is still heating up right here. Braxton DeWeese now under threat from Chris Smith. He seems to be maybe saving a little bit here because he just doesn't have the speed to keep up with these guys at the front. Chris Smith is going to try to get to the top now. We've seen that outside lane work for some moves. 28 will be the next car to go up there, and then looking one spot back. I haven't talked a lot about him this race, but Devin Jack's got that car back up into P7. He'll look high on Braxton DeWeese. He'll try to move himself up to 6, chasing down Chris Smith, who's just entered the top 5.
Started 4th on the night for the 49 of Devin Jack. He's found some pace here. Looking to take the outside now of DeWeese. He'll be door to door. DeWeese way low here. He's going to be much slower on corner exit, and Jack just shoots around like a rocket. He's up to the 6th spot now, looking to chase down the 28 of Chris Smith. He's got some distance there. Luckily for him, Smith and Sobzik are battling side by side for that 4th position. Smith is going to get the advantage across the line. Who does he follow? Devin Jack goes to the outside, tries to get behind the 28 here. We'll see who comes out victorious on this one. It should be that top line. DeWeese with a big connection issue there, blinking multiple times in 1 and 2. And there goes Devin Jack around the outside. He's going to get into the top 5 now, right back almost to where he started.
This is doing pretty good here for Chris Smith. The more positions he gains over Braxton DeWeese, the more spots he gets up into the championship fight. But the issue is he's still stuck behind Jacob Bradley. He came into this race as the points leader, and by leading this race, he's only extending that. If Chris Smith wants to be able to make a run at the championship next week, instead of just settling for 2nd or 3rd, he needs to get up to get ahead of that 50 car and try to get that move done.
Bradley leading the race for about the last 15 laps or so. He's found that clean air. He likes to keep the nose of the 50 wide open. Dylan LeBeau right now, he's tucking in behind. He's staying on pace with Bradley. But that dirty air that you're getting from the 50 machine, that's not helpful whatsoever. You can see right now LeBeau separating about a half car length up the racetrack, trying to keep a little bit of a draft here at Las Vegas. There is some sort of a draft present. It's not very helpful, especially in the corners. Want to get as much clean air as possible. You don't want to run all the way up at the top, however, because that will just wear your tires down even more. A great battle here between Jacob Bradley and Dylan LeBeau. 3-car tandem now behind, led by Ellis Thomas, Chris Smith, Devin Jack. Thomas to the outside here, round 3 and 4. Chris Smith looks to the inside. He's going to get a good pull here coming across the front stretch. Thomas is going to have a little bit more speed, but ultimately does not beat Smith to the line. Smith now to 3rd place. Thomas still high on the outside. Devin Jack will take the opening here. Try to work around the bottom now as well.
Really good run for Chris Smith right now. He's doing just what he needs to do. Driving through the field, getting himself positions, and getting himself closer to that lead battle of Bradley and LeBeau. Devin Jack, another car with some speed. He's moved his way up to 4th there with Ellis Thomas running back in P5. Braxton DeWeese, a little bit of a distant P6 right now. I think he is saving the tires, but he needs to get it turned on soon. He's gotten around Scotty Sobczak, who's still trying to fight back, but he needs to have his sights set on Ellis Thomas and Devin Jack up there. He needs to be as close as possible to Bradley to give himself the best chance possible in the final next week.
If you're DeWeese, when do you decide it's time to turn on the jets? You know, it could always be a matter of too early or too late. You don't want to wait way too long before, the tires start to plateau. At some point, you got to catch it before that. Otherwise, your tire saving effort is null and void by the end of this thing. We'll see if DeWeese can make any ground up here going through the rest of this race. Try to get up from that 6th position and be a little bit more of a threat going into next week's championship race.
Well, he's still under threat from Scotty Sobczak, which isn't going to help any of that. DeWeese is being moved up to the top as the 81 of Sobczak continues to try to run that inside line and put pressure back on that 15 car. And even further back from these guys, Levi Cox is running some great lap times right now. He is getting closer to this fight. Got the gap closed down to just over half a second there, although he will get into the wall, and that'll cost him a little bit of time. He's definitely getting closer to Sobczak and DeWeese, so that's another car that's going to kind of get in the middle of this battle and stop Braxton DeWeese from moving himself up the points. And while Levi Cox is pretty much out of contention for a title here, he's certainly still in contention for a 2nd place or a 3rd place finish. Good run today. If he can get up into the top 5, would go a long way towards that for him.
It absolutely would, and that's exactly what you need to happen. You want to really do anything next week. Sky, it's already 40 to go here. This race is coming to a close. We haven't, typically we like to think about who might take home the win here tonight, but I'm going to throw a different type of challenge at you. Who do you think will take up the most positions gained on the night? Who do you think will be our biggest mover here?
That's a really close one. I'm going to have to look at where some people started in this race. We're going to take a look at some of the guys up here. Scotty Sobczak, for one of them, started all the way out back in 23rd and has done a great job to pull himself back up to 7th. Levi Cox, especially, he was running higher than 8th earlier, and I think he's currently got the speed to go higher than 8th. He started out back in 11th. If we see him back up around 2nd where he was earlier, that would be a pretty big gain for him as well.
Indeed it would. I'm going to go for a little bit of a wild card here. I'm thinking that 63 of Max Cost is set to have a pretty good day here. He's always pretty consistent at these 1.5 mile racetracks. Currently running in the 12th position, but started all the way back in 24th. So he's up 12 right now. Let's see if he can add any more to the board before we see that checkered flag wave. Ryan Jones now down on the apron. He's going to cut this short, bring it down pit road. Wonder if he'll take 4 tires, 2 tires, or if he's in for fuel, and it's an early stop well before any of the pit stalls. Ryan Jones is going to exit the session, it looks like, and it looked like, I believe that was Justin Wilson also coming down pit road now.
Justin Wilson will come down for service here. One of the first few cars to make that turn down pit road, and we'll see where he comes in, what he ends up doing. I'm going to have to imagine fill it with fuel. 4 tires is going to be the call here. Get yourself back out to go on the attack for these remaining 36 laps.
You have to wonder if some of these drivers will hold out in hopes of a late race caution. Just try to make it as long as you can. Try to stay on that lead lap. I do think Wilson will have enough time to get back up to speed before Jacob Bradley, Dylan LeBeau, Chris Smith, all those drivers up at the front of the pack make their way back around. It doesn't look like it. The 58 of Wilson just now coming out of pit road, but with those fresh tires, should be able to make quick work and get back onto the lead lap. Right now, one lap down, a couple drivers ahead. Paul Thomas, Johnny Rapp, Peter Stewart, all one lap down as well. So it's going to be a battle for a lucky dog if we see another yellow flag come out. Back up towards the front, Jacob Bradley has gotten away by about a second and a half over LeBeau. Points challenger right now, Braxton DeWeese. He's still back in the 5th position, about 3.25 seconds back.
He really needs to get that car up some more spots if he wants to make a run next week. 4 spots back of Jacob Bradley, who is looking to win this race and get another win on the season to really boost himself in those standings. It's going to be really difficult for DeWeese at Atlanta. He's going to need something bad to happen to Jacob Bradley if he is to win the title, if this is how it shakes out all the way to the finish. He's got 34 laps, and he's running some pretty good lap times right now after saving the tires. I think he's got a good shot to get around Devin Jack here pretty soon, Chris Smith as well, but he needs to be a little higher up than this, I think, to position himself well for next week.
You've got to love a good, solid points battle coming into the 2 final races, only separated by, if I recall correctly, 5 points coming into this race. Some bonus points on the table for Bradley if he can take home the win. DeWeese really needs to start working his way back up there. It could be a matter of just a couple points once the dust has settled next week in Atlanta. And you might look back at this race and think, man, that's the one that got away.
He might. DeWeese needs a very good run here. He is starting to catch Devin Jack, but another car that's turned it on kind of in the latter stages of this run is Scotty Sobczak. We counted him out a little bit once he started to slide back through the field here, but he stayed pretty consistent running in 6th right now. He got around that Ellis Thomas car, and as he's been doing for what feels like about 20 laps, he is laying the pressure on Braxton DeWeese in that 15 car, trying to force him into a mistake. That 81's got speed. Wouldn't count him out just yet as DeWeese gets right up to the bumper at Devin Jack. He'll look up the inside for 4th.
DeWeese took it high up into 3 and 4 and came right back down onto the track, trying to get as much momentum down the front stretch and into 1 as he could, and it worked out perfectly. So now DeWeese is underneath Devin Jack here. Jack has not been running this higher line very much, so it could be a little unsettling for the 49. We'll see how he handles it as they are right at the door. Coming across that start-finish line here. Luis still on the bottom line. He's going to get the advantage here through the middle of the corner. Can he get slid up in front? He tries it, but cuts it short here. Oh, right behind. A big checkup there. Like we had Sobczak into the wall as well out of turn number 2.
Sobczak's going to look up the inside of Devin Jack. Pit stops are underway. David Hill's one of the cars who's come down pit road. A couple other drivers like Max Cost I've seen in the pits as well. This is going to be interesting to see how these pit strategies shake out, because we got some cars that came down about 10 laps ago. We got some cars that came down about 5 or 6 laps ago, and then we've got some cars that just came down right now. So this is going to be a lot of wildly varying pit strategy here in this race. I'm really interested to see how this is going to end up playing out for a lot of these cars, especially as most of the leaders haven't made the move down into the pits yet.
Not just yet. And it'll be interesting to see if they do take that. It's all going to, I think it's going to come down to a caution before we see any of these leaders come in. 28 laps to go. Bradley's out by 2.5 seconds over Dylan LeBeau, 3 seconds over Chris Smith, almost 4 seconds over Braxton DeWeese. Jacob Bradley can put this thing on cruise control. If he's got enough fuel to make it to the end, there's no reason for that 50 machine to bring it down to pit road.
He's pulled out such a big gap, too. It's 2.5 seconds back to Dylan LeBeau, and even further, 3 seconds back to Chris Smith. That 50 car has it locked down right now with 27 to go. He's doing everything he needs to do to manage this race. But we saw a couple cautions earlier on in this race. Never count out a late yellow for Jacob Bradley. I think a lot of these guys who haven't pit yet might be just trying to run it to a caution and see if that ends up working out in their favor.
That is the last thing that you want to see if you are Jacob Bradley right now. That commanding lead goes away immediately as soon as you see that yellow flag. The anxiety has an opportunity to step in here. Braxton DeWeese will bring it down pit road now. See what the 15 does here in terms of tires and fuel. This could be a 2-tire only call. Doesn't seem like it's been too long since we've seen the 15 machine in pit road. I could be incorrect about that. Right sides go up. And how about the lefts? The lefts are going to go up. All right, so 4-tire stop for DeWeese. Looks like Jacob Bradley's now bringing it down pit road. Chris Smith, Devin Jack. So we've got some of our leaders bringing it down. Dylan LeBeau stays out. Scotty Sobzik, Ellis Thomas, Levi Cox, James Danforth, Jake Mackey now with a good recovery. He's back up to 6th spot after being almost demolished a couple cautions ago.
Yeah, once one leader comes down, the whole field sees fit to follow. Braxton DeWeese made that turn down, and suddenly no one wanted to give him any spots. Everybody else comes down one lap later as soon as they can. Sobzak, Ellis Thomas both into the pits this time. Those two will roll down pit road and try to make it out. Very few cars still left out here that haven't pit yet. It's LeBeau, Cox, Danforth, Mackey, Weaver, Mulholland, Wiseman, I believe Chase Berry, and then a couple others towards the back all have not made that move down pit road. This is going to cycle out a little weird here because we've seen some cars play a strategy where they came down about 12 laps or so ago now to try to catch up to these cars who are just now pitting. It is going to be kind of out of order once these guys come out compared to how it was when they went in. James Danforth will make the move down now. A lot of these other guys looking for a running long, looking maybe for a yellow here to help their strategy.
Yellow certainly would help, especially when you have all these drivers a lap down. It's 11th on back. That's all at least one lap down here. Only 10 cars on the lead lap. James Danforth being the last one as he's going to make his way out of pit road now. Vincent Weaver up to the 4th spot. So everybody up here in the top 10, aside from now Max Cost. So our top 9 would love to see a caution right now before any of these drivers can get around and get unlapped. That'll give them the opportunity to bring it down pit road, get some fresh tires, and still start ahead, virtually losing no spots if a caution was to come out.
That would be the ideal situation. Max Cost, kind of the leader of these cars that have pit. It's because he came down and pulled a bit of a strategy call, taking 2 tires on that 63 car, and that's kept him out in front of these guys. But Jacob Bradley, you see him right there behind, and Jacob Bradley has the fresher tires. I don't think Max Cost is going to last long before he gets swallowed up by that 50 and that 15. These top 9, though, are all still out on the racetrack. Jacob Bradley, Braxton DeWeese are gaining over 1.6 on them a lap, and Rob Liedl still not having a good day. He's almost in the fence.
Liedl gets a door from the 60 of Steve Vest, gets sent up the racetrack, luckily collects it this time. The 80 machine stays straight on the track, back up here towards the front. Jake Mackey stuck on the inside here. Got some cars unlapping themselves. I believe that's the 23 that just got by. There's the, I think that's the 28. There goes the 27, the 58 of Wilson. Now Mackey's going to bring it down pit road as he's getting passed by everybody that will assume the top 10 once this pit cycle is fully complete.
Yeah, Bradley is up to 10th right now. Rob Liedl, next car up the road. Bradley and Cost have both unlapped themselves, so they're in a pretty decent position. Braxton DeWeese is about to do so as well, so that'll also get him on the lead lap if anything were to happen here. Still a lot of cars holding on to this lead. Not pitting yet. Dylan LeBeau is going to bring it into the pits, but he's almost going to spin it into the inside wall, attempting to do so. He'll make it down clean here with 19 laps to go, and you got to wonder at this point, was this maybe a strategy on fuel? Take as little fuel as possible, shorten the pit stop, and try something on 2 tires? I don't know. Might work for one of these cars.
Let's keep an eye here on the 26. Right side will surely go up. See if he takes the lefts. He is going to stay in the box and get a full 4 set. We are at just 17 to go this time by, Sky. It's crunch time now for the 26. He's going to cycle out here outside of the top 10. Alabo goes 1 lap down. Will he have enough time to get back onto the lead lap? Keep an eye on that 26 there. He's known to do some special stuff.
He's going to do his best to get himself back up there. A couple cars trying to make some moves down into the pits. Maybe this time. We'll see if Levi Cox comes down. Oh, he's certainly trying to. He got a little loose on the apron there and almost had the mission abort. But he will make it down into the pit lane. Benson Weaver, next car up who hasn't pit. And that car will stay out on the racetrack. So Benson Weaver will assume the lead, get some points for the lap led. Laura Wiseman, Sean Mulholland will follow. Looks like Chase Berry will as well back there in the 5. So, or back there in the 46, running in 5th. So, looks like about 5 cars still keeping it on the racetrack. Weaver, Wiseman, Mulholland, Berry, and Steve Vest have not made that move down with 16 to go.
Or Wiseman's crew able to get that hood back on the 84 STP. We'll see. You know, that's a different type of strategy right now. Wiseman brought it down for one of those cautions. Now only about 45 laps or so on this set of tires for the 84, so theoretically could make it to the end. Let's see if Wiseman can hold on and take away a podium position here on the night. Wouldn't that be a story?
She's certainly going to try it, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. Rob Liedl made the move into the pits. He was running outside that top 5, had already been swallowed up by Bradley and company. So he's going to make that move. He'll get tires on the car. He'll get fuel, and he'll go back, I think, about 2 laps down here. Has not been a good race for that 80 car. Back towards the front, once this cycles around, it'll be Jacob Bradley. Sean Mulholland finally makes the move down. And Steve Vest is going to come down with him. So we're down to 3 cars still out. One is Chase Berry, and I think he's probably going to get passed by Jacob Bradley this lap, which will lead Weaver and Wiseman out there in a class of their own, 1 and 2.
Weaver and Wiseman separated by about 50 laps on the strategy. Weaver certainly should not be able to make it to the very end. Looks like maybe setting up to come down pit road. Not this time by. Weaver's going to continue. Oh, apologize. That's out of turn number 2. Now we'll see if Weaver will set up for a pit stop here. Slow on the bottom. There it is. Now the one's going to bring it down pit road. Laura Wiseman will collect a couple laps led here as Jacob Bradley still has a whole lot of room to get back up here towards the front. About 9 seconds right now. Keep an eye on that 50 on the left side of your screen. See how long it takes Jacob Bradley to get back up here to the 84 with, I believe, probably around 20 to 40 laps different on the tires. I can't quite remember what the number was that Bradley came down. And it looks like Wiseman going to call it early, actually. Not going to try to stretch it to the very end. The 84 brings it down pit road.
Got that 1 point for leading a lap at least by staying out longer than Benson Weaver, so she will get an extra bonus point here tonight. But the battle will now resume between Bradley and DeWeese. That 15 car has really closed that gap down to about half a second. He is there, and he's running a little faster than Jacob Bradley. Braxton DeWeese in the perfect position with 11 to go. It's his chance to strike and steal the win away.
A half second separating first and second. Third place, about 2.5 seconds back from our top 2. And the caution's out, Sky. Where is this one coming from?
Oh my goodness, this is further back in the field for sure. We're going to have to find out. Rob Liedl looks like he stopped on the racetrack potentially. He might have had a moment. Again. Yeah, Rob Liedl is, in fact, slow on the racetrack.
So the 80 machine caught up once more, facing backwards here on the tri-oval. Backing it up here, looks like the 23, Zachary Mitchell gets loose out of corner exit. Liedl just comes up a little bit higher as the 23 of Mitchell trying to save it. and grinds to a halt right before the start finish line, facing the completely wrong direction. That will be a good reason to bring out that yellow flag. Unfortunate to see that so late in the race. This was setting up to be a fantastic finish between Bradley and DeWeese.
And this has been an absolute nightmare for Rob Lidl. He can't buy a break. I think that's the third or fourth one he's been involved in now.
Gonna get him stacked back up one more time. Taking the green flag with 7 to go here, Sky. Lap 104. Jacob Bradley with control. Braxton DeWeese on the outside. Devin Jack will start behind DeWeese. Chris Smith has worked his way back up to starting behind the 50 machine. Ellis Thomas will be on the inside here. Scotty Sobzik still hanging around up here at the front of this field. Look at that. Max Cost in the 63 up here in the top 10. James Danforth, Dylan LeBeau, Jake Mackey rounding out your top 10. 27 of Phillips will be in 11th here, followed up by Benson Weaver, Levi Cox, Johnny Rapp, Justin Wilson, David Hill, Peter Stewart, and Laura Weisman falls back to the 18th position after that pit cycle.
This is going to be a hectic finish with 7 to go. Braxton DeWeese is going to do absolutely everything he can to try and steal this away from Jacob Bradley. He's got 7 laps to make it happen. He wants it. Chris Smith, also in the top 3 in points. He wants it. Devin Jack doesn't have a win yet this season. He wants it. This is going to be madness as the pace car pulls down.
Green flag in the air. Bradley steps on the pedal, and he's going to get a little bit squirrely for both of our leaders there. Jacob Bradley does get the better grip, and he's going to get away here about a quarter of a second into turn number 1. But the battle is on for second place. Chris Smith looking for the inside line here on Braxton DeWeese. 3 wide and sections behind, but it's all eyes on the front of the field here. Steve Vest goes way down to the apron on the backstretch with a heavily damaged race car there. Braxton DeWeese able to hold on to that second place position here. Devin Jack looking on the outside, trying to find that momentum. Here comes Dylan LeBeau in the 26, near contact. 3 wide behind Justin Wilson down on the apron. Contact now with, and that's going to be another one. The 88.
The car flipped.
That is not what you want to see. That is an infield care center visit for certain. Justin Wilson goes for an absolute carnival ride here in turn number 1.
It's T-boned in the side there by Benson Weaver, and that car was launched into the sky. We're going to get a replay on that right here. We're 3 wide coming down. The Ellis Thomas trying to hold him down. He just comes back up the track, but he's got James Danforth there. Oh, huge hit with that one car. Does a couple rolls into the outside wall.
Nearly a fence. I don't know how that catch fence didn't snag the 58 there, but that's a race ender for certain for Justin Wilson. He's going to have suspension damage all the way around the car. We'll get an onboard here with Benson Weaver. He's the one that ended up getting into the side and sent Wilson end over end. There's all the contact in front. The 58 just coming down. Weaver with nowhere to go. Laura Weisman locks it up, gets sideways. Oh, and a hit there for the 84. Rob Lidl just, man, he cannot get away from getting hit by other people here.
He can. It's not even when the wreck's 10 spots in front of him, he still can't get out of it. He's been involved in everything. Not a good. It just gets worse for him. I keep saying not a great race, but it is really not a great race. He's gonna hope next week goes a little better for him.
Certainly will. Get back up here to our live shot. See what we can do when we get stacked back up once more. It's the number 1 Hero Cards 111 here in Las Vegas with 3 to go. Lap 109. This will be a natural green-white checkered, I believe, Sky.
It will be with 2 to go. It is going to be Jacob Bradley once again at the point, but Braxton DeWeese is still in second, and he's still looking. Same as last restart. Your top 3 cars and points are coming into this restart 1, 2, and 3, but there's some spoilers further back. Devin Jack, Scotty Sobzak, neither of whom have a win this season, and both of whom will be doing anything they can to pull their cars into victory lane. This is going to be fun.
Would you say that now is the time to roll the dice, see
I
who can hit?
would.
Pace car will certainly come off here in just a moment. Take a look. Bradley on the inside. DeWeese still on the outside. Who's going to get the jump to catapult themselves up to the lead here? Try to walk away with it. And the 50's away and out by a car and a half already. Braxton DeWeese sleeping at the wheel there. Chris Smith falls behind a little bit. Dylan LeBeau gets shuffled down to the bottom as the 54 of Levi Cox looks all around but finds no gaps. Devin Jack stuck out on the outside here. Dylan LeBeau still trying to make his way up through. Looks like, is that the 54 of Levi Cox behind as well? The 81 of Scotty Sobzik still trying to hold on. As this time by, they're going to take the white flag. Everything's official from here. No more cautions on the table. Who's got it? Jacob Bradley in the lead. Braxton DeWeese sitting second. Dylan LeBeau with a hard charge on the inside. Levi Cox looking to make up some room here. Near contact there with DeWeese. LeBeau still door to door. 3 wide for second place. LeBeau on the outside. Oh, he gets shuffled all the way back. He's going to fall back to 6 as the checkered flag comes out. Jacob Bradley takes home the win here in race number 9 and gets a big jump going into the last race. Dylan LeBeau follows in second with Levi Cox in third.
What a battle that was. Jacob Bradley had some challenges, but overall, he did everything he needed to do. Great run on the pit stop, great speed all race, and the 50 car brings it home once again at a 1.5-mile track. Jacob Bradley extending his points lead. He is looking really good coming into the finale, that's for sure.
If you're going to get hot, now is the time to do it. Jacob Bradley with another win on the tally board and only one more race. And this will give him, with Braxton DeWeese taking home a 6th place finish, this will give him a big gap over 2nd place going into this last race. As Jacob Bradley gets his celebration donuts in. We'll take it to a quick commercial break here, have a word from our sponsors of the league, then we'll be right back with post-race coverage and interviews with our top 3 finishers. Stick around. You don't want to miss it.
Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief, the very first AI-powered mechanic for sim racing. Got a car that's a little loose or tight? Just tell me how it's handling, and I'll whip up instant setup recommendations just for you. Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup, and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters, so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wonder why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
And we're back here live for our post-race coverage of the number 1 Hero Cards 111 here in Las Vegas. What a race we had, Sky. Action from beginning to end, and late race drama is going to bring us to quite a finish here. Take a look at our post-race results. I believe that was 6 cautions on the night. Jacob Bradley taking home the win. Dylan LeBeau falling in second. Levi Cox will be able to take home the 3rd place spot here tonight with a great recovery. Johnny Rapp makes it up to 4th here. Started out in 6th. Christopher Smith falls back from 2nd to 5th on the night. Braxton DeWeese, not the night that he wanted to have with only one more race to go, will take home 6th. Devin Jack gets the 7th spot here on the night. Scotty Sobzik makes his way all the way up from 23rd to 8th. And I believe our biggest mover here of the night that we had mentioned earlier, Sky, Jake Mackey, moved from 29th to 9th on the night. And last but not least, in our top 10 will be James Danforth.
And rounding out your top 20 from there, we got Chase Berry finishing 11th. Justin Wilson caught up in that accident, still brought it home 12th. Peter Stewart 13th, Max Cost 14th, another car up 10 spots. Ryan Phillips brings it home 15th tonight. Sean Mulholland in the 39 finishes 16th. Laura Wiseman, she's in 17th in the 84. David Hill 18th in the 43. Benson Weaver in the 1 starts 19th, finishes 19th. Steve Vest rounds out your top 20.
In 21st, Evan Pienta takes the 55 machine after some serious damage that we saw with him multiple times. Pienta getting caught up. Cam Gillens takes home 22nd on the night. Rob Liedl with a rough night. Heavily damaged race car at the end of this in 23rd. Paul Thomas in the 42 takes the reverse of his number in 24th position. Zachary Mitchell gets 25th on the night. Ellis Thomas takes the 8 to 26th. Ryan Jones falls back to 27th. Brian and Robert Probst will take 28th and 29th after accidentally getting into each other. Last but not least on the night, Aiden Neese with those connection issues and a big wreck for the 24 machine. Unfortunately, no post-race interviews here with our top 3. We will get those added as soon as we can. The Sky overall, it's been a good one out here in the desert of Nevada. What do you have to say about anything in this race here tonight?
And that was just a super fun one. We had battles for the lead. Jacob Bradley got the win, but it always felt in doubt. A lot of cars. Dylan LeBeau, Aiden Neese earlier on. Braxton DeWeese were giving him a good run for his money. Great race.
While we've got an opportunity here, let's go ahead. We've got our points graphics set up for next week already. So we know what to look forward to here as Jacob Bradley takes a 13-point lead over Braxton DeWeese after the finish of this race. So that's going to be a big bonus for the 50 machine. Gives him a whole lot of room to work with next week at Atlanta. Chris Smith now in third with 317. Not quite out of the equation just yet, but it's going to be very hard for Chris Smith to take home a championship. Levi Cox pretty well in the same boat. He's going to need a full field here on the track next week if he wants to take home a win, and Jacob Bradley to get an early exit. Even then, you still need Braxton DeWeese and Chris Smith to both have rough nights as well if the 54 wants to see it. From 5th on back, I think mathematically everybody here is out. But Johnny Rapp has an opportunity to move up a couple more spots here on the board to close out the season. Dylan LeBeau not far behind, only 4 points behind Rapp. Justin Wilson about 10 behind LeBeau. James Danforth, Chase Berry, that'll be a battle here. We've got a two-way tie for 10th place between Evan Pienta and Jake Mackey. That one will be for bragging rights here next week. We'll see how that one settles out. And last but not least, in our top 12 with points, Ryan Jones with 251. We're setting up for a good, interesting championship race next week. Really looking forward to it, Sky.
It's going to be a great one next week. I'm also looking forward to it as well. I think we're going to have a great battle between Bradley and DeWeese. That 15 car is going to be doing everything we can to try to steal that away.
Well, if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe so you never miss another race here. My name's been Logan Threlkeld. Sky Shrek alongside me in the booth, and a big thanks to Johnny Rapp for controlling the cameras here tonight on this post-record coverage.